Every day that goes by, it seems less likely Russian athletes will be allowed to compete in South Korea's Winter Games. But women on the national team keep practicing hard. It's the goal of every athlete. We'll be upset if they don't let us go, says Angelina Goncharenko. The decision from the World Doping Agency that Russia remains non-compliant came out just as practice started. Their coach, who's new to the job, was angry. We have a competitive team that can fight for a medal, but honestly, it will be the highest injustice if our team will not be able to participate there, he said.
By the FSB in a secret operation.
Richard McLaren, the Canadian professor who led WADA's investigation, concluded otherwise, that Russia's doping agency, sports ministry, and secret police all conspired together to help more than 1,000 athletes cheat doping tests over 2 Olympic Games. McLaren's report claimed that every member of Russia's last Olympic women's hockey team at Sochi had dirty samples swapped for clean ones. And they know this because when those dirty samples were tested, they discovered male DNA, something that could never happen naturally. Angelina Goncharenko says she didn't cheat and can't explain what was going on. I just don't know, she says. As athletes, our job is to give a sample, but then maybe they did something. I just don't know. Our job is to train. They asked us to give a sample, and we did. The new leadership of Russia's anti-doping agency says it has done everything WADA asked to clean up its act. Almost. There were 2 points that were beyond our prerogatives, says Yuri Ganis. Those 2 points are letting WADA into the Russia lab and an admission from Russia's government that, yes, it ordered the cheating. That will likely never happen. Vladimir Putin has suggested the doping controversy is being inflamed by the West to make him look bad, heading into elections just weeks after the Winter Olympics end. With just 3 months till the competition, it's hard to see the compromise that would let Russia compete. Chris Brown, CBC News, Moscow.
If there is a compromise, it will be IOC chief Thomas Bach who will announce it. Awkward, given his close Russian ties. The world first learned about Russian doping from the reporting of this man. His name is Hayo Seppelt. He's a German journalist, and we reached him in South Korea this evening, early morning his time. He says this is going to be a little bit tricky for Bach.
My feeling is that Thomas Bach wants to avoid, under any circumstances, to apply a collective punishment against Russia. It's very obvious that he has very, very tight connections to Russia for years. And if you don't apply tough sanctions against this country, then you have lost everything and you lose every credibility. And it gives, obviously, the feeling to the worldwide audience that a country is obviously allowed to do everything.
You can expect talk of that decision in early December. The IOC will decide in about 3 weeks whether to allow Russia to compete in Pyeongchang. It's waiting on results from 2 commissions. One of them is retesting all the samples from Russian athletes who competed in Sochi. But even if the IOC leaves the door open to Russia, that's still not necessarily the final word. Each sport's governing body could determine eligibility case by case based on the athlete's doping records.